Domi Online is going to be a medieval MMORPG for hardcore MMO players. If things like no level or skill cap or punishing death consequences sounds interesting to you in an MMO, then stay tuned to see how Balthazar scored Domi Online. The game is set in an expansive medieval world where players embark on a journey as one of the 4 different classes. In the world of Domi, there is a vast land to explore with biomes such as forests, deserts, ruins, caves, and islands. One of Domi Online's primary goals is to differentiate itself from the modern MMORPGs in which players mostly end up the same with a maximum level and repeated dungeon grinding to get the best gear. Usually whenever a new expansion is released, all the time spent to get to that level and gear is rendered useless because of higher level caps and new equipment introduced. Domi Online avoids this problem by keeping the level counter going and not putting limitations on a player's progress. I really love that concept. I grew up playing MMOs such as EverQuest and RuneScape, and when you do get to a max level of a character, it gets pretty boring, and typically what I would do is just go start another character because it didn't seem worth it anymore. Now I'm sure those upper levels are going to be insanely hard to grind and keep going, but at least there's the motivation that you can still level up if you want to. Another interesting thing is the use of mana and mana regeneration. In contrast with other MMOs where players can usually just wait a few minutes to get mana, in Domi Online it can take hours, and the mana bar still might not be full when logging into the game after a long break. In order to regain mana while being offline, players will have to go sleep in a house which is sold as NFTs. The goal is to have them rely on their autos and weapons and think through their use of spells carefully. This is an interesting concept because we're all so used to just spamming our spells over and over and just expecting to have the mana to use them, but now we're going to have to think much more carefully about when we want to use our spells. However, the one thing I don't like is that mana regeneration offline is only in a NFT house. Well, what if you can't afford an NFT house or there's a limited number? Then how are you supposed to mana regenerate while you're offline, or just keep the game open? That seems a little bit messy to me. Players can train skills forever, but they get incrementally harder to level as requirements increase. After a certain point, skills will take weeks of work to get to the next level. Especially with play to earn and NFTs involved, this is going to make a really interesting strategy. Do you try to spread out all your skills, or do you hone into one skill and take the weeks of work to level it up and continually get it better so that you can craft the best things and maybe get a nice reward for yourself out of it? As I said earlier, Domi Online is probably going to be for hardcore gamers because death is going to be punishing. In the whitepaper, they use the example of dying at level 80 and respawning back at a temple, losing their favorite sword while also being down to level 79. It might be less punishing in lower levels, but taking a one-hit level like that at higher levels meaning grinding for hours, if not days, to get back. Domi also claims to be different from other mainstream MMOs in that players will be encouraged to explore the world instead of returning to repetitive quests for leveling up and killing enemies in their path. This way, players will uncover secret places and discover the different biomes in the game while progressing efficiently. Also needed is a lot of effort and preparation to go into boss fights and fighting stronger enemies. Again, if you're not used to hardcore gaming where death means a loss of experience or players take your loot or you lose your favorite weapons, this is going to be very punishing and it's going to feel really bad to lose in this game. Clearly, with the language that they're using here, they have a target audience, and I don't think this is going to be for any casual player. If, however, they really can capture the attention of hardcore gamers, that is a pretty solid audience and enough for an MMO to last a long time. As usual, wars break out in domination scenarios, and the foundation for server-wide PvP between guilds is laid. There's a rational motivation behind this as well, as it comes in the form of control over desired monster spawns and farming grounds. In Domi Online, there's going to be 4 classes to play, including the sorceresses, the priests, the amazons, and the warriors. Similar to a lot of other MMOs, the sorcerers are going to be the high DPS magic damage dealers. Priests are going to be more of that balance of spell casting between offense and defense. The amazons are going to be the ones shooting bows, and the warriors are going to be the good old-fashioned tanks with melee attacks. 4 classes seems pretty limited to me, so hopefully down the road they can add more in because I like to have a little bit more variety in my RPG games. As far as the lore, little is said except that there won't be boring repeating quests or fetching or escort quests. We do know that some quest line characters are voiced by actors like Anthony Howell from Elden Ring, Tracy Wiles from Diablo 4, and Stu Scudamore from Assassin's Creed. All things considered, Domi Online has earned a 7.5 out of 10 for their background. Now let's jump in to talk about the NFT gaming assets and artwork. Domi Online's main NFTs will be houses and rare gear. Houses will be found throughout the cities in the world of Domi. They will be sold as ERC 721 NFTs. Houses per city will never inflate beyond what is stipulated by the team. However, with new cities, there will be more houses. I do like it when a team is thinking about how to limit NFTs, and in this game they have full control over the supply, only adding new houses when there are new cities to be built. That's nice to know when buying an NFT, to know that they're not going to flood the market with more supply. I did go back to my previous question though, is what if you don't have a house, it's too limited in supply, and then you can't regenerate mana while offline? That seems like a big bummer. The most powerful and rare gear will also provide the player with a related NFT when looted, allowing players to sell the item to willing buyers. Armor, weapons, rings, boots, pants, shields, and amulets are all in the gear category. For now though, the information on items and NFTs feels a bit scarce. That's definitely one area I think the team can improve on. It would be nice to know more about the NFTs and how they're going to interact in the game. Domi Online's NFT gaming assets earned a 7.5 out of 10 from our alpha team and a 7 out of 10 for their artwork. Now let's look at Domi Online and how their white paper fared, including things like gameplay, the roadmap, the blockchain, and the tokenomics. Domi Online has one native cryptocurrency, that is Domi. The Domi token will have the use cases such as staking and governance, being able to make in-game purchases, and the play to earn aspects of earning the token. Like a lot of other NFT games coming out right now, about a third of the tokens are being used as play to earn rewards. I and the alpha team would definitely like to learn a little bit more about the tokenomics here, and if they have any plans to burn or to recycle some of the tokens. Now they are capping the Domi token at 1 billion tokens total, but we all know that as supply increases in these gaming tokens to reach that, usually there is a drop off in price unless they have other sinks or places to burn some of their tokens. Domi Online is going to use the Avalanche ecosystem for its blockchain purposes and use a subnet. With an MMO where possibly every item will be an NFT, it is important to have zero gas fees and fast transactions to not ruin the experience in-game for players. With Avalanche subnets, Domi Online can specify its own rules regarding this. Avalanche seems to be picking up steam, and I see more and more good games coming to the Avalanche blockchain, which is exciting. If you want to learn more about the pros and cons of the Avalanche blockchain though, jump into the full research report. As for the roadmap of the game, in Q3 we are looking to have an alpha release of the game, including game sounds, main menu, account settings, and of course, getting the tokenomics in the game and running and implementing the reward system. Other than that, they don't have on the roadmap the beta or the full release of the game, but as an MMO, I would expect it to take quite some time. Which is honestly probably better that they don't just put some random date out there and they're just saying, hey, here's when the alpha is. When looking at the Domi Online white paper, we get the feeling that it's been completed in a rush. The structure isn't great and we find several grammatical errors as well as the flow as a whole is questionable. The white paper is from November 2021, and since then there have been a lot of monthly developer updates. The changes we've seen on those updates are not reflected in the white paper. With the current state of the white paper, the alpha team decided to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Now let's jump in and see how the team scored. The team working on Domi Online consists of 20 plus people, and their information was neatly found on their websites, with most of them having a LinkedIn account. Many people working on Domi Online seem somewhat inexperienced in game development. However, they have a few people with relevant experiences working on games such as RuneScape, Doom 3, Spider-Man games, etc. Pellic, their CEO, is known for working on official projects with games such as League of Legends, Power Rangers, Magic the Gathering. He's also a well-known YouTuber with more than 4 million subscribers. David E., their game lead developer, has worked for Jagex primarily on their RuneScape mobile project. Although we have the impression that the team working on Domi Online is somewhat inexperienced, that doesn't take away from the fact that this team is very dedicated to their work and is making a game that they themselves feel is missing out there. Many of the greatest games have been made by indie developers. It's good to see that some of the top leaders of this team have some good relevant experience. It is a little bit concerning that the rest of the team doesn't seem to share that experience. That's not to say they can't put out a great game, as they've already put out some great content. However, it does mean that this team feels more unproven than others. Also, for a large project such as an MMO, I'm surprised to see only 20 plus people working on this project right now. So we'll see if they bring more people onto the team later on down the road, but from what we could tell, they aren't hiring anyone as of right now. For these reasons, the Domi Online team received a 7 out of 10. Now, before we jump into the overall score of Domi Online, I do want to remind you that here at Balthazar, we are trying to create the best resources to help you find the most amazing NFT games. And so if you haven't seen our top 3 rated NFT games, jump over to that video once this one is done. I think those games will really excite you. Now for our final thoughts about Domi Online. The website of Domi Online earned a 6.5 out of 10 and their socionomics a 7 out of 10, which you can read about in the full research report. From what we can see in the teaser videos and monthly updates, the game is starting to look great on the graphical side of things. The WoW-esque art style will likely appease fans and provide a familiar feel to the MMO community. There also seems to be a great effort in the audio department and several voice actors. We can expect an immersive experience when we finally dive and explore the world of Domi ourselves.
And for your heroic efforts, you've been granted an audience with thy king.
This game shows a lot of potential and is one of the most promising MMORPG projects in the Web3 that we've seen so far. It is a game that we, the Alpha team, are looking forward to playing ourselves. However, we wish the white paper would have been tidier and kept up to date. The team working on this project seems somewhat inexperienced. However, with everything that they've produced so far, including the gameplay we've seen, we're all together positive about this project and really look forward to what Domi Online will be able to achieve. I don't know about you guys, but I'm also really excited about Domi Online. Of course, they have a lot of work to go, but I love that they are giving different development updates and a video to go with it each and every month. In fact, I've known about this game for quite some time, as one of my community members over at Luke Plays to Earn told me about this game early 2022. When I first saw the teaser and the development update back then though, I said, this kind of looks okay, but nothing that really excites me. I basically completely forgot about the game since then, and now looking at the July and June developer update, this is a game I'm see and I'm like, oh, it actually looks pretty good, a game that I would probably actually play. And as a gamer that's more competitive at heart, I like the ideas of no level caps and of making it a little bit more hardcore and punishing people for their deaths having real consequences. So for me personally, it fits my style pretty well. I like the updates that they're doing, and I hope they continue to improve this game to make it look even better, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the alpha launches quite well. Let me know what you guys think about this game though. I'm interested to hear your thoughts in the comments below. For now, that's it about Domi Online. Come to one of these other videos. I'll see you there. Merci, grazie, gracias, salamat. Thank you all for watching. Take care.